Hi again, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science 5 Questions Over Coffee. It's normally coffee, but I've got a nice glass of hot water at the moment because I've had enough coffee this morning to keep me going. So I'm going to be doing this with a nice lemon in water. Welcome back to everybody watching. Welcome to Mandy. Mandy is going to talk us through her creative genius author today. Mandy, as I said, is a creative genius, artist and author. She helps people really discover how to launch their creative genius business. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So welcome to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 Questions Over Coffee, Mandy.
My pleasure to be here, Stuart. I'm always happy to talk.
Oh, well, that's what we need when we're doing these things. So let's start off with the obvious first question. So what's the problem that you help creative geniuses such as yourself to solve?
I think in the creative space, there's this concept, isn't there, of the poor artist and the starving artist, which is embedded through society, which means that many of the creative women that I work with have a real lack of self-confidence and a lack of business knowledge. And when you combine the two of them, they're kind of caught in this cycle of constantly living and working on the poverty line, creating small, thinking small, and not able to think outside that box. It's not their fault.
I love that. I love the way that you described that. So what are the common mistakes that those people have made when they're trying to solve that problem without the help that you provide?
I call it they're kind of caught in this making marketing cycle because they're really safe in their place of making. So whether they're painting, writing, creating things, that's where they're happy. That's what they love doing. And that's where they're safe. They know they've got to do marketing and business strategy, but they don't like it. So they avoid it and they end up going back and reverting to type and creating more and more stuff without ever selling it or without selling it in any volume to change their lives. And I see this all the time.
It's a shame, isn't it, when we feel uncomfortable in a space, and I've said this on so many occasions. I've said it before. You know, we worry about whether or not putting ourselves out by going out there and saying something. Somehow we're either offending somebody or we're going to get rejected. In actual fact, there's nothing to fear or nothing to worry about being rejected. I keep saying to people, you know, selling is just about you explaining to people that you've got the solution to their problem, even if that problem is a gift or a really nice present that they're trying to find. If you can go and say, I've got this as the solution to your problem, people you won't need to sell it. They'll come and buy it because they want it. And it's a case of just finding the right person to present it to. And that's all it is, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
It's just understanding how you do that in the best way. So you have got lots of valuable free stuff on your website, I know, because I've had a look. What can you do to help people to begin to sort of break down some of that barrier of understanding how they make their thing valuable to other people?
I like to offer loads of free value, and I do that through my social media sites all the time. I go live every week, and I always do a lot of value posts. But on my website, I really wanted to focus on a few areas. The first one being identity, because I think it's really important. When you know yourself and you know your talent and you know what your area of genius is and you can really live up to it, it helps you to understand how you can show up. So I created a free quiz called my Creative Archetype Quiz, and you get to find out who you are a little bit more. And I've used the Jungian archetypes and 4 artists as avatars. So you're either going to be Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, or Salvador Dali. And I want you to understand why you fit into those personality types and how you can show up better on social media because of it. I also have a free mini money mindset on there and a couple of other freebies that help you get past those mindset issues around money. But that's probably the thing that can help you the best first.
So understand if you're a Monet or a Dali, and then use that to your advantage in order to help people find the thing that you can help them solve.
Yeah. And, you know, showing up with confidence as the expert in your area of genius and understanding where your strengths are is everything, isn't it, when you're showing up on social media?
Love it. I love it. So what's the concept, book or program that's been most impactful in your experience?
My signature program, the Creative Mastermind, helps women the best, particularly creative women, because it's a 12-month program. And in order for a big transformation, particularly when you're in that headspace of not earning your worth, I think you need to work with someone over a longer period of time. So that's why I've created a 12-month program. I see my clients coming out the other end flying. I've just taken a load of women into that program. My next launch is in January, and I'll be launching with a free 5-day challenge on the 10th of January. So that's going to be the best way I can help.
Get that date in your diary, and we'll talk later, Mandy, about how we can make sure that that's put back into people's memories so that they can get into that space just at the right space of time. So we've had a really good introduction, I think, to how you could help people in that space. But I guess there's one question you're thinking to yourself, Stuart, I wish you'd asked me this. And so I'm going to give you that time now. This is what I always call my get out jail free card. This is where I don't have to think about a fifth question. I can say to you, Mandy, what's the fifth question I really should have asked you? And obviously, after you've posed that question, please answer it. Otherwise, you leave us wanting to know what we would have heard.
Absolutely. I think I would always like to be asked this question. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? And obviously, I'm 57 now, so I know a bit of stuff. And if I could go back and give my younger self one piece of advice, it would be to completely believe in myself and my area of genius, and not let the comments of others, or the naysayers, or society, those people that were telling me that you will never make money from your creativity, it's a nice hobby, but you've got to get a proper job to pay the bills, and all of that stuff that I heard and really believed because it's so ingrained in society, then perhaps it wouldn't have taken me decades to go back to my creativity and start helping other women. And I wouldn't have spent, I had some great time. I spent, 30 years, nearly 25 years in retail as a senior leader, which taught me a lot about business, which enabled me to show up in a better way. But for those decades, there was a void in me, and that void was caused by a lack of belief because I believed too much of what other people said.
We could spend many hours, I suspect, talking about how we are limited and held back by other people's comments when we're younger. And it's such an important concept, such an important discussion, that so many people are somehow held back by those limiting beliefs. But if you can help them to bust through those with some of those tools that we've got on the Mandy Nicholson website, then I think that's a wonderful thing, Mandy. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes talking to us. I wish you every success with that launch that you're talking about early in the new year, and we'll find a way of making sure that we get this in front of people so that they can hear about that. So let me just remind you all, you can get onto the newsletter website, the newsletter mailing list, by going to this, and then you will get an email before we record these so that you can join in live, and if necessary, ask questions and hear about what's going on in our discussions here. So use the following website. You go to https://tca.fyi/subscribe. That will get you onto the newsletter, and you can get on and hear wonderful things from people like Mandy. Mandy, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Really, really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. We're going to try and help get even more people to know about that launch in January so that you can help even more people discover their creative genius. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us on It's Not Rocket Science, 5 Questions Over Coffee.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
No problem.